When you are burnt out or when you're about to be burnt out, like how does it manifest? What's happening to you?
I think like the first time I felt burnt out was probably about 3 years ago, and to be honest, like I didn't even want to really talk to anyone about it because I felt like I sounded like I was complaining, because a lot of my friends and stuff, you know, they're always like, oh, you should be so grateful for your work, and I am, and so I always kind of felt the pressure to like not really kind of complain about, oh, you know, YouTube is so, because I see people in really difficult jobs like nursing and all these things, and you don't want to be there like, I can pick my own hours and this and that, and yet complain about it. But the way YouTube has kind of been is that if you're not kind of really on the ball, it's like a hamster wheel, and it for a long time it was rewarding. The more regularly you posted, the better you would do, and then that would translate into other, you know, money and opportunities and stuff. So you felt like if you took a break for mental health or anything like that, that you would financially suffer. And you know, we're all trying to get on the property ladder and things like that at this age. And I just found myself like barely sleeping, and it just got to a point where I was a nightmare to be around because I just couldn't juggle everything. It's too many balls in the air.
I think the thing I've noticed when I can feel it coming on is that it can switch on a dime. Like it can be, is that a phrase? Switch on a dime? Flip on a dime? I don't know. Basically what I'm saying is I can be in a mode of like feeling really energized and creative and on top of things, and then I can wake up and just be like, oh, I'm out for a while, and it's kind of hard to tell how long it's going to be. So it's I think being aware that can happen, it makes you sort of try and come up with strategies for when that is a thing, rather than, you know, preparing yourself for it. It's being prepared that it could happen at any moment, at least in my experience.
I actually find it really hard to recognise when it's happening, because I think a lot of the time we glamorise the idea of being really busy, and I think that's especially a millennial thing. And I mean, Rosianna sent me many articles about why this is. She loves to send people articles, so I feel like it's the idea that if you're busy and you're productive, then you're like a worthwhile human being. So I think even people who aren't putting things out, like YouTube videos and things that people see all the time, are experiencing this constant pressure to be productive and like be doing something, which is actually just a capitalist nightmare, isn't it? Because it's like you should be like constantly working, or you are not worthwhile as a human being, which is obviously not true. So I feel like a lot of the time we're all kind of approaching burnout and not realizing it, because we're putting all this pressure on ourselves. Because I mean, I have made YouTube videos for a long time, but I don't have an audience that's like, oh my god, I must have the next video. So I haven't experienced that kind of burnout. All the pressure that I feel, I put on myself to be like the most productive version of myself I can be. And that, I mean, I feel like I still do that, and I haven't actually found many coping mechanisms for getting around that, because I want to feel productive and good all the time. So that's depressing, isn't it?
Everybody take a shot.
Yeah, well, I've only experienced it once.
I call it normal Sundays. And the idea is that on a Sunday, I do nothing but do normal human activities, like watch the Strictly Come Dancing results show and just cook some food and maybe catch up on the football, which sounded like someone who's never watched football in their life. I watch football. Like, and I like the idea of that very much. Taking a bath, I don't know, and like, because if you know you're always at an event on one night and you know you're being dragged. It's not a normal activity to be pushed in front of a load of flashing bulbs at an event and like, can we take a picture of you? And then you see this horrible blown up picture of your awful red face kind of thing, and it's like there's so much of that, and then you're working from like 8 in the morning right the way till, well, not me, I don't get up till 12, but like you know what I mean, like that our days are so odd when you are a creative, that having a grounding normal Sunday sounds like a wonderful self-care.
You do that every Sunday?
Only when Strictly Come Dancing is on. No, I genuinely, I like the idea of doing that every Sunday, but I don't. And I wish that that's in a way a goal of being able to actively put aside that and say, yes, I'm going to do that. And have friends over and not talk about, you know, oh, we should collab, or that's a great idea and all that stuff. Because when your friends are also your colleagues, and I imagine this is the same in book selling and, you know, working in hospital and all the rest. Like, it's finding a time to leave the job to one side is a lovely dream. Will it ever happen? Who knows?
Yeah,
I definitely can relate. Like when I used to spend a lot more time in England and I would be around creators a lot, I found it harder to not think about work or talk about work and stuff. And I feel kind of lucky, like one of my friends here's from my village and stuff.
Stand up and take a bow. Go on.
Yeah. But if I didn't live near people who work in like more like regular jobs and stuff, I don't think I'd ever really switch off. Like my partner as well as a normal job, and so when he's not working and when they're doing things, I'm kind of forced to just shut it off. And because we never talk about work, no one brings up anything about work, and they never even ask me about all my stuff, and I'm so appreciative of it because I love that, and I can pretend to just not have all these things in the back of my mind a lot. And I do think as my life goes on, I'm hoping it gets more like that. You know, if I get to a point where I have small children, I just think I won't care as much about that kind of thing. But I don't know that for sure. I really don't. And yeah, it's scary.
There was some tweet recently that was, this is another really depressing thing that I'm going to say, so brace yourself. It was a tweet that was basically about like how when you're at the end of your life, very depressing.
Jesus, Lex, come on.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say. So when you're at the end of your life, you're gonna, I mean, again, I'm gonna misquote this terribly, I'm gonna do it down. But if you spent your entire life working towards things, but like never had the chance to actually enjoy yourself, like great, you've lived a life where you've worked really, really hard, but you have to accept that death is coming. So it's like, but the thing is, it is true. I'm sorry, this is awful. What I'm trying to say is that recently I've been thinking about the fact that the value of the time that I have every day is how much I actually spend enjoying each moment and kind of the memories that you look back on as well. And I feel like I work and like I'm trying to set boundaries now where I work enough that outside of my like regular job, that I work enough that it's still like a thing that brings me enjoyment, and a thing where the work that I'm putting in and the amount of stress is actually equal to the enjoyment I'm going to get out of it, because I really hate reaching the end of a week and thinking like, well, I worked really, really hard all week, but did I actually enjoy myself for like a single moment? I think it's definitely easier for me to say that because I have a regular job, and therefore I have a regular job. I have like a 9 to 5, which means that I don't have to rely on being creative all the time, even though I have a creative job. I have a creative 9 to 5, and then I have a creative outside job, which is a little bit difficult. But yeah, it's definitely different because I can set boundaries a lot easier than other people who do it full time. I'm rambling. We're all gonna die. Very good.
It's actually a Janet Jackson song, basically. You just get the song "Escapade." Everybody, that's what it's all about. No, I was thinking when you were talking for 9 years about. I'm doing jokes. I know. I've been catching.
That's not okay.
I know. I love you, Lexus. But what you were saying is so true. About like finding these little moments and being like, I enjoyed this so much, and it's so important to have. Sorry, Rosie, you've heard this for the 19 millionth time. I went to see Robin at Alexandra Palace, and it was probably one of the best nights of my life. And I came home and I couldn't stop thinking about how amazing it was, and I wrote a journal piece to be like, this was the tits. Like, I was better than that. But like recognizing that, and then a few months later, a friend of mine was like, when was the last time you felt like completely free? And I was like, oh, it was that. And because I took the time to really let that sink in, that makes that a lot more special.
You never feel like that about a day that you just spent editing or, like writing. Like my strongest memories are just with other people.